Hi, y'all. It's another Storytime Sunday. Sunday Storytime. I want to talk to you guys about um, one of those sins that people don't talk about as much, but it's so prevalent. It is so prevalent. I had used a scenario where it's like, okay, well, in this scenario, I was talking about lust, but I use a scenario talking about, how some sins it's like, okay, if you had like 100 people in a room and you threw some rocks or something, to like hit. Hold up. All right, this is not the scenario I did, but just stick with me. Let's say these rocks had sins listed on them, okay? And let's say like you had a bunch of glutton rocks, right? And you threw them out and maybe it hit a few people, but like I was saying, like if you had some lust rocks, it hit just darn near everybody in there, because lust is one of them spirits that attach onto a lot of people, and it's a nasty little spirit to get rid of. And yeah, but let's say other spirits that's connected to sin, like maybe rage. You threw out some rage rocks out there, and it hit many people, because many people might not struggle with it. Like being angry is an emotion. Like sometimes you float in and out of it, but rageful people struggle with it. Like they're susceptible to getting into that spirit. It doesn't take much for them to succumb to feeling that way and not being able to regain control of themselves or step out of it once they feel like, that spirit done got in them. All right. Pride is one of those nasty little spirits. The ones that's hard to get out of, the ones that's a lot of people fall susceptible to. But I don't think a lot of people talk about it like that. But I want to talk about it because my story time today is an example about how pride can kill you. And it could have almost killed me. And I'm gonna be nice. Some prideful person that was in the midst with me as well of this situation, the prideful person in question. So, all right, before I get into the story, let me just explain about pride real quick, because a lot of people like take that word. I don't know. It just feel like a lot of people take that word at definition value instead of what it means spiritually. And having pride spiritually is having a puffed up feeling about yourself, that whether it's that you are in control of everything, that you are to be put above other people, that you're better than other people, that something about you elevates you. And when people act in a prideful way, that might come through as people being too controlling, people acting like they don't need other people, namely God, people acting like they don't need God, people acting like they know everything or that they can't be corrected about certain things. Like the mindset affects how that person presents, like their actions. The mindset affects their actions. So the mindset is what I was just kind of explaining, but the actions come through in a real life situation in many different kinds of ways. So a private person might make excuses about how they are, like if you guys have a disagreement and they're clearly wrong about something, or they're clearly wrong in how they handle the disagreement, or they might be literally wrong. Like some things are black and white. There's truths and non-truths. Facts, like if something is a fact and then you come and fact check somebody, a person with pride is not going to allow for them to feel, I guess, what would show up to them as feeling weak, to where it's like, oh, they were wrong about something, so they won't admit it. Like it's giving narcissist. If you're familiar with some narcissistic components of that personality, which is also a spirit, which is rooted in pride. Like you can see how that's interwoven in how narcissistic tendencies show up. Or another example, someone with lots of pride, like again, a lot of it has to do with them when a situation comes forward to make them feel like they are less than in some kind of way, whether it's them being wrong about something, or whether it's them doing something, choosing like not the best path for them. Like that's what gets them into their feelings, where like the prideful stuff just comes out. If you're never wrong, then everybody's just susceptible. Everybody who interacts with you is just susceptible to having to bend and sway with whatever the consequences of your actions are, whether they're right or wrong. Like the result is going to be the result. And if I'm connected to you and you think that you always right, and you do something that's wrong actually because you didn't want to listen to another person, you thought that you just had all the answers, you knew best, you couldn't listen to anybody, you couldn't humble yourself. That's what it is. Prideful people don't have humility. So if I'm interacting with you or in a situation with you, and that's where you sit in, and yeah, I'm just at the mercy of whatever happens, because your meter of right from wrong doesn't depend on any outside information. It depends on whatever information you've gathered on your own or you choose to accept. And that's crazy, because like think of how that shows up if you're somebody with a family. You're somebody with a spouse. Like, no, people have to be humble. The Lord has us here. The human experience is a interdependent experience. We're supposed to be able to connect with each other and learn from each other, right? So if you, the smartest person in the room, how are you growing? How is that benefiting you? It just doesn't. If you're not there on an assignment to teach other people things, not an assignment that you made up in your head, but, as somebody with expertise, then okay, if you're in there for an assignment, but that's something that you're going to step in and out of. That's not going to be a place where you live. Imagine being in a household with somebody, it's like a tyrant. You can't give anybody critique who hasn't humbled themselves enough to know that they don't know it all. That they don't know nothing. For people to live in this era of they are so knowledgeable that they can't stand to accept critique or constructive criticism or just new information, it's bogus. It's bogus. That person still has some growing that they need to do. I said all of that because it hits me. It hits me. I have experienced prideful people like so much. Again, it's one of them rocks that you can throw out and hit lots of people. I have experienced prideful people. I mean, it also shows up in people who don't humble themselves enough to, again, if you're wrong, then apologize. Like some people, like it's like when they realize they're wrong about something, but they can't swallow it. They just sit it right there on their tongue and just hold it. How does that show up in relationships? And I don't mean romantic relationships. I mean any kind of relationships. When you have to interact with other people on a personal level, you've done something that was incorrect, or you thought something that wasn't true, and now you got new information, and it's okay to be like, oh, I changed my opinion about something. I have new information now. I know more. I'm able to, change my mind to fit something that I'm more knowledgeable about, or like they've done something wrong, but they sit that right there on their tongue. and they'll never swallow it. How does that show up when you have to interact with other people and you're that way? Like the arrogance. Like, I've come to a point where I don't even want to be around people who can't humble themselves anymore. It's like you playing with my intelligence. If the one person is not as puffed up as you are, you might have the notion that that person is not as intelligent or not intelligent at all. And, well, no, they just not loud. They're just not loud and arrogant. And they have a humility about themselves where it's like, I know who I am. I don't got to make all that noise. I don't have to prove no points. I know who I am already. And if, because you're the one that's being loud, you're the one that has to be seen, or you're the one who has to be right, if that makes you feel like you are on another level than I am, of what I can contribute here mentally, then I'm gonna let you have it. But don't think I'm finna be interacting with you like that. No, cause like I peep you and like your thoughts of me is that I'm less than you. Well, you can be great by yourself, and I'm gonna be great over here with people that I can intermingle with. Like, okay. I'm gonna have to make this a two-parter because I done went on a tangent. But again, it's because I have experienced this enough. Like, to where, like, when I go off on tangents, it's because, like, I'm passionate about whatever I'm talking about. And I want to thoroughly explain it. Like, I just want to thoroughly explain it. And I just want to thoroughly explain my insight about it and my personal experiences about it. Because again, I'm here to help, and hopefully my insight will resonate with your insight, or bring something new to your insight, add some new information to what you already know, and then it will be helpful for either you to put up a mirror in front of yourself, because some of these things that I talked about, that I've experienced, it's not all about other people. Some of it is about us. It's about things that I've done. I've had to learn and grow through. And sometimes it's better to take someone else's experience and put it in your backpack than you having to live out the experience and do it the hard way. So get that secondhand information, that expertise about something, and put it in your backpack so that you know how to use it when the situations come up for you. But so yeah, people not being able to apologize is one of them real prideful things. And like, okay, so it's like, yeah, you can, for the person on the receiving end, that person can forgive you without you ever apologizing, but that don't mean they're gonna let you play in their face still. So humble yourself. When you find a relationship, or, you know, a person to be of value, and you messed up, you did something that you know didn't sit right with that person, be accountable for your own actions. Say something. Like, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. Even if it's not the words, I'm sorry, you tell them, I see, in whatever words you got, use your words to explain to them that you realize where you made a misstep in this situation. And that's on you. And if you can say the words, I apologize, you know, that can put a little band-aid right there on that person's heart. Maybe you won't keep messing up and it'll heal whatever wound there was. But at least for now, the Band-Aid is there and it's helping repair. It's helping repair. You know what happens when you put Band-Aids on things to help things from cover things from getting infected, or keep the wound sealed up, the cut protected, sealed up, like so the skin can adhere back to each other and heal. Like, but you know what happens when you rip it back off? When that sticky part that wasn't even supposed to be on that heel stick there and you have to tear it off, that one ain't gonna heal. You take them stitches out too soon, you're gonna get a mess. So there's a difference between, just like repentance, there's a difference between apologizing and changing your course of action so you won't rip that wound back up. And there's a difference between that and acknowledging it, which does give the other person a sense, okay, like they understood it, they were wrong. But the true apology is in the changing of actions. And sometimes people be too prideful to want to change their actions. They want to live in whatever space they're in, whether they know that it's wrong or not. So being prideful can be dangerous in real life, and it can be just harmful to whatever type of relationships you've developed. But as I always say, when people get over things, it don't mean that they gotta. That's a whole nother story. We're not finna get into that. Never mind. But let me get into my story for Sunday story time.